everybody, it's Joe here with Deranged. We are out with Kawasaki test driving the new KRX4, and we're going to start by answering all your questions today that you commented in the comments on our previous videos or on Instagram or anywhere else. So let's jump into the questions. Excuse the phone here. We're going to take a look at all the ones that came up. So the first one that came up was compare this to the Talon X4 and tell us what driving locations you feel like it would thrive best in. It's funny that you should mention compare it to the Talon X4 because that's what Kawasaki compares this machine to the Talon and then the Razor XP4. So as far as comparing the two, I'm not going to give like a full one's better than the other thing. I'll tell you kind of the main differences between the two. Obviously the biggest difference being the Talon has the CVT or has the DCT, and this has a CVT. So two different types of clutches basically. One's, you know, slapping gears, one just has this this amazing clutch that Kawasaki has. There's pros and cons to both of them. I love slapping through gears on the Talon, but I also love the engagement and the really early action on the tires, I guess you'd say, as you're approaching obstacles and everything else with this one. So as far as where it would be best to ride in, anywhere but the dunes, I guess is the best way to say it. So it'll do okay at the dunes. It's a naturally aspirated machine and it's heavy. Don't expect to, you know, kill it in the dunes. If you're doing a trip a year, I wouldn't even, it's not even an issue. If you're doing 3 trips a year, 5 trips a year, you're probably gonna want a little more power than the KRX has. So, but anywhere else, mountain trails, country roads, desert, all that kind of stuff, it's great for that type of stuff. So that kind of answers that. I'll get a little bit more into that in our main video, which will be coming out in a couple days. So no bead locks. Why is there no bead locks? Everybody, the first thing they says is, why is there no bead locks? One of the first questions anyway. There's no bead locks mainly because of cost. So they looked at the cost and the benefit of bead locks, and then looked at the audience or the people that are driving their machines, and trying to understand what the people driving their machines, where they're driving in, and whether or not they need bead locks. And for the majority of people that drive KRXs, in the environments that they drive them in, they don't need bead locks. So they don't have bead locks. There is an upgradable option for you. The price, I think, is $1,800 to get different wheels and tires. Up to you whether you want to do it. They are the same carnies, so Maxxis carnivores, and they are 15-inch bead locks, and they look pretty much identical to the 2022 models. Okay, so that's it for the bead locks. Again, it comes down to cost. Next question, can you get 35s on without having to add offset arms? It's pretty simple. This machine, the only difference is right here between the KRX 2-seat and the KRX 4-seat. So if you can fit them under the front before, you'll be able to fit them under the front after, or with this model and that model. So the answer is yes, although we haven't put them on. They didn't tell us, yes, you can fit 35s. Obviously Kawasaki wants them ran with 31s or whatever they are stock. So can you? It's the same machine front and back with very little difference. The only difference we saw was basically this little gap here is bigger, or that little piece anyway is bigger on the 4-seat than it is on the 2-seat. All right, next question. So this guy commented, I should have put the names next to these so I could put them, but whatever. The next guy commented and said, can you confirm that the brake calipers are the same size for the 2-seat and the 4-seat? Yes, they are. Again, it's pretty much the same machine in the front, and in the back it's the middle that's changed. So same size, we just measured them. We did not ask, so maybe Kawasaki will correct me later. Doubt it, but it appears to be the same. I measured them. Let's see what else. Next question. Other than the name, why would you buy this over a Pro XP? So it comes down to just being 2 different machines targeted at 2 different audiences. The Pro XP is targeted at those that want high horsepower. This is targeted at those who want comfort. So when both manufacturers are building a machine, they have to prioritize something along the line. With this machine, they had 3 C's, I forget what they're called, comfort, something else, and something. But anyway, they had the top priority was comfort for a family of 4. That's what they wanted for this machine. They really are 2 different machines targeted at 2 different markets. So what you're looking at with the KRX, and this is the same with the 2-seat, although people get it confused all the time. This is meant to be the best of the best in the naturally aspirated market. and you kind of it's obvious with the release of this four-seat machine that they are aiming to be the best of the best in the naturally aspirated machine. That doesn't mean that eventually they won't have a turbo and everything else, although I have my doubts there. It could happen, but that's not the priority of the KRX as it stands right now. So why would you buy it over a Pro XP? If you want comfort out of the box, straight stock, great ride, you're going to get it. With the comparative Pro XP, so the one that everybody compares where the prices are relatively close, you're talking about the lowest end model, Walker Evans shocks, not as great as springs, everything else. You're going to need to do some work there as well. Whereas this is going to have live valve suspension and all that kind of stuff. So that's the answer to the question, the best I can give on the Pro XP versus KRX in this video. Okay, so 2 more questions. First, how wide is it? Simple answer, it's exactly the same width as the 2-seat. It's either 68 or 69 inches, I forget, one of the two, but under 70 inches for the total width, identical to the 2-seat model. So last question is rear comfort. So everybody knows how tall I am. I'm 6'4", I'm a tall dude. So I'll show you what the back seat looks like as far as comfort goes. Pretty easy to get in and out. And when you sit down, I mean, this is with the driver's seat all the way back. So ton of room. If you happen to be riding with the short driver, I'll show you how much additional room that you can have. I know not a ton of drivers are short, but if you've got that seat all the way up, I mean, that's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
There's a good 10 inches there between your knees and the seat.
Yeah.
Maybe 8.
Yeah, so plenty of room. So rear seat, top of the class, best of the best. I don't know the measurements. It's the same as the Pro XP as far as my comfort in the back, or my leg room in the back anyway. And then when you move the seat forward, it's the best of the best. I can't see one bigger or better than that. All right, that is hopefully the answer to all of your questions that we had in the comments. If you have more, leave them in the comments below. I'll try to squeeze them in our next video, which should come out in the next 3 or 4 days. This one should drop tomorrow, possibly late tonight. And then our next one will come out within the next few days. We wanted to give you some early impressions as soon as we possibly could. So that's it for this one. Again, look out for the next one. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Man, that's it. So, all right, guys. With that little dust breeze there, that's it for this one. We'll see you on the next one. Ride safe and pack out what you packed in. We'll see you. I'm just gonna say